Harry, fourth fastest growing agency globally.
Yeah.
Did the agency life choose you, or did you choose the agency life?
Oh, I suppose I had to choose the agency life. I've never done agency before. I had no idea really what an agency did before I even started at Sport Opposite, my previous job, and then lots of people pitched us to help run marketing stuff for us, and I was never really convinced that they were very good, and never convinced that they would be able to deliver on what they said they were going to be able to deliver on. And then I was right, they didn't. And then it was like, okay, well, there seems to be quite a lot of money in doing this, and there seems to be a lot of really poor agencies. So if we can just be the guys who do what we say we're going to do, then that may be enough. And that was really it. I was like, okay, well, let's just do what we say we're going to do, and run our business based on that mantra. And that was it.
I think a lot of people do the in-house thing, and then they think, oh, I can do it better. That's like the classic entrepreneur journey, right? It's like finding something that pisses you off or irritates you and then trying to fix it or do it better.
Yeah, that is the inventor entrepreneur spirit, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it really was it was a wake-up call more than anything else. Like, wow, this is a huge gap. There's so much money being spent, but people don't really know what they're doing, and seem to still be able to get a lot of work. And that was the opportunity for me.
So why influencers specifically?
I suppose we'd already built influencer marketing in-house at this previous job without calling it influencer marketing, really just doing social well, using communities, engaging communities, and we utilized that network that I'd built with people online to then go out and work with brands. But influencer, I suppose it was really a social focus, and influencer was our speciality. And then because influencer grew so quick, that became not just our focus, but our entire business. And that's where we are. Obviously now we're incredibly fortunate to have picked the right horse when it comes to media channels, because the last few years has seen influencer and social in general grow exponentially to a point where, you know, every brand in the world is looking at investing in this channel and doing something, you know, properly exciting, using communities online to get the word out about their product or service, whatever it might be. And that's amazing. And that's kind of, you know, why in the end we started with the personal branding ourselves, because we were like, okay, well, what if we became our own biggest fans? You know, everybody else becomes famous online for being fans of something or someone else. But what if we became our own biggest fans and just talked about it and showed the content? And ultimately it was because Channel 4 knocked on our door and said we want to do 24 hours in an agency. And they'd done 24 hours in A&E, they'd done 24 hours in police custody and things like that. And they wanted to do an agency, young, vibrant, decent number of staff to kind of get the storylines. And we had a few production meetings about it. And ultimately we didn't like the control. And that's why we moved into becoming fans of ourselves and creating our own content.
It's quite funny that, well, it's not funny, it's not a coincidence that you guys are an influencer agency and you've gone on to try and create influencers within your business.
Yeah, we wanted to be able to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And we were really, really bad at marketing ourselves in the first 3 years. We just didn't care. We were so focused. And I think this is quite a lot of founders, and to be honest, quite a lot of agency people forget that you need to market yourself at the same level as you market a brand, because the brand will judge you for it. And for us, the first 3 years, we just completely ignored that fact. And then we realized that every time we told a client that you need to create video content, you need to be doing this, and you need to be active, and if they looked at our channels, they would go, well, why aren't you doing it then? And that was really the wake-up call for ourselves, and go, right, okay, well, we need to be doing everything, not just a bit, not just be posting on Instagram. That was just part of it. We needed to be posting on Instagram. We needed to have a tone of voice on Twitter. We needed to have video on LinkedIn. We needed to create video and personalities within our business. All these different things were just they just had to happen because of what we were telling other people and charging other people to do.
It's really interesting that you say you didn't do what you were telling other people to do, because I feel like that's like synonymous with every single marketing agency.
For
It's
sure.
just one of those things that marketers are horrible at marketing themselves. So
Yeah.
how did that, I understand how that came about, because if you're looking at your stuff and your clients coming back and saying do this and you're not doing it yourself, how did you get buy-in internally? Like where was the decision
We
made?
didn't even get buy-in amongst all three founders, if I'm honest.
Because that's a struggle in itself. If you're going to build out personal brands of individuals and go, right, we're an influencer agency and we're going to make you guys influencers, that kind of internal, and I know I've felt it definitely with my team, that internal thing of fear of visibility, worried what other people are going to think, like, is this right for me? That's all.
And that's what stopped us doing it 2 years before. We were going to do it from the start, which obviously, looking back, I wish we had, because it's been such an amazing journey. And actually, if you look at the vlogs, you'd think that we've always been that size. And if we'd have recorded in the style that Matt did over the course of the 2 years that we were vlogging every day, if we'd have done the 3 years before that, my word, what an amazing documentary that would be. Because you start from 3 years before that, it might have been like 15 of us, and going into an office 3 years later and 100, it's an amazing story. Yeah, we got to a point where we were like, we have to do something. And Aaron and I are in London, and Nick was in New York. And the two of us, Aaron and I, were like, we're just going to... In order for us to actually do this, we're going to have to spend some money, which I think is the biggest advice I can give to any entrepreneur who's on the fence on something but knows deep down they should do it. Spend some money, and then trust me, you'll want to do it. Because you do not want to spend 15, 20 grand on kit and then do nothing. Like, that is a disaster. Especially with a lean business. So for us, it was okay. Let's spend. This was on a Thursday. We said we're gonna start vlogging Monday. We had no idea what that meant. We had no idea how hard it was going to be. We had no staff that could do it. We had no one in video, no one who could edit, no one who could shoot video, no one who could create visual effects for the start screens, end screen, nothing. We literally could do nothing, and we said, okay, we're just going to start. We're going to start Monday. We're going to buy the kit today. It's all going to arrive tomorrow. And we're going to hire a team between now and Monday. And I need to start Monday, because that's when we'll start filming, Monday morning. And probably about 2 hours later, I text my girlfriend saying, okay, we're going to go and do this. We're going to vlog every day. And she said, oh, that's amazing. And she was doing body art at the time. Like, she was doing all sorts of things, and she became big on TikTok for body art, and was a really early adopter on TikTok. And she was painting someone's chest. So she turned around to me and went, oh, actually, the person I'm with now, he's a camera guy, and he's out of a job at the moment. He's looking for a new job, and we want to, he'd be quite interested in chatting to you. And I called her and just said, okay, just get me to chat to him. And then I chatted to this guy called Matt, and said, okay, well, if you can come up to the office at 4:00, and bear in mind he's at this point in Surrey having his body painted. If you could come up to the office at 4:00, let's have a chat. He came up at 4:00, t-shirt on, but still you can see the remnants of the paint underneath. And we gave him the job inside 20 minutes. More out of desperation, if I'm honest. Like, we had no idea what we were looking for, how good he was, how good anybody we were looking at was, because we had no idea. We're not video people at all. We're not production people. And we said, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Turns out quite a lot. But that was okay. You've got to start Monday, 9:00. We're here. We'll give you all the equipment. Next day, we had to find another camera guy, because we started with 2. And we needed to find an editor. So found those 2 people in slightly more traditional digital channels, like tweeting out, trying to find someone who could just help us on Monday. And then we got on Monday, and we sat everybody down in the boardroom in two sessions, so 2 lots of 50. And you can see it on the first vlog. You can literally go back on YouTube.
I think that's how I originally found you, was I saw that first vlog, and I remember thinking, that is so cool.
That's Monday, the first time we literally talked about it for the first time. Just Aaron and I on Thursday. We didn't tell Nick because we knew he'd start asking questions. And on the first vlog, you see Aaron and I call Nick for the first time and tell him we're doing it, tell him we've hired the team, tell him everything's happened, and not to worry about it. And then we progressively, so in the first, I'd say probably the first 25, 30 vlogs, Matt doesn't talk at all. Like, we have no interaction, cameraman to staff, and it was very much more of a fly on the wall documentary style. And we did it every day. If you're listening to this and you don't know or haven't seen anything that we've done, like, we literally did it every single day, every working day, Monday to Friday. We released a video that was between 5 and 12 minutes long about the day before. All of our staff, not just me, from intern to account manager to campaign coordinators out in the US, like, everybody got involved. And after about 25 episodes, I think Matt went on the weekend to a conference with Aaron, and they started, just because it was just Aaron for the whole day, they just chatted with the camera rolling, and it was gold. It was so funny. It was much more engaging, so much more dynamic, and it was different. What we'd had in the first 25 episodes was a fly-on-the-wall documentary, and people had seen those with all the other documentaries you see on TV, and even other things that people have filmed for businesses. Like, people have seen those before. What Matt could bring to the table, which we didn't find out until probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks in, is that dynamic between behind the camera and on the camera, and that just changed the game. And we built a personality in Matt who allowed the other personalities around the company to thrive, and we found some stars. Like, we found people in our business who would say nothing. They were super quiet, become like amazing characters in this reality TV show that we were creating every single day. Like, I think of Shakira in HR, who was super quiet, and now she'd tell Matt to fuck off every time that he'd point the camera in her face. Like, that dynamic was just amazing. And Sam Fowler was an incredible cultural person internally, and kind of continued that on the vlog, and obviously followed Aaron and I's journey in the UK and followed Nick's journey in the US. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, I mean, I wish I did it earlier. I really, really do.
But it's ended now.
But it's ended now. That makes me so sad. Like,
it makes me sad. I used to look forward to those
episodes,
every single day on LinkedIn.
400 days in a row. We didn't miss a single day. That's unbelievable. If we could not have, we would not have bet on ourselves to do that.
Operationally, how the fuck does that work?
It was so difficult. And there were some days which were so easy. So easy. Like, Matt would do the rounds, and we'd have enough within like an hour. We'd have enough to fill the whole day, and you can, clever in the edit, you can make it look like it was the whole day rather than an hour. Other days, you're literally scrambling around, you're having to refilm things, find topics, stitch things together by filming something in the middle to make something else make sense, going back over things, not having anybody of interest talk to you. Like, it was just really difficult. And then logistically, Tom would have to take the footage. He'd see it for the first time at 8:30 in the morning the next day, and he'd go through it all by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock the next day, put it into order, cut things out that were crap, build a first draft by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then I'd say I'd different. So I'd go and sit down with him at like 2:30, 3 o'clock to watch it. So that's probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 minutes worth of content I'd watch every day. And then I'd move things around, chop bits, add stuff back in that he thought wasn't right, but I thought was right. And then I'd leave him to it, and then we'd post it at 6 o'clock every day. And there was no approval. Past sort of, I'd say episode 40, episode 50, there was no approval ever. We just trusted it was going to be good.
Love that. So
there was free reign. Matt could have done, and we'd find out what Matt was up to the next day.
I love that. I think that's one of the biggest blockers, though, for a lot of employers, specifically around the concept of personal branding. Because I think a lot of them know they need to do it. Like, we're not, you can't be sitting there in your B2B castle or your B2C castle and see influencer marketing rise, social media marketing rise, human-to-human marketing being probably the future of how things are done, and still go, I can't do this. But they're all terrified of what their team's going to say online. So how do you get past that?
I suppose we kind of went into the whole thing thinking, what have we got to lose? There was certain things. It was also like, we didn't want certain people talking about certain things. So we positioned certain, and that's where building characters was the perfect way to do it. And I think the differential between us and other people was that we allowed characters to be built away from it even being talked about work. Oh, yeah, there's some amazing things that I remember, like storylines where Hannah, Heather, and Sam Fowler fall out, and the whole thing is captured. They're literally they're having a go at each other on camera, and it pans to Hannah in a close up, and Matt asks her what's happened, and she's like going on a rant saying, "Oh my god, I took all my chewing gum off my desk. I can't believe it. He's not even replaced it. It's a joke." And the camera pans around to about 30 foot over there, and it's Sam with the extra pot of gum, and he just downs the whole lot on camera. And that moment, it just sticks in my mind so much. And nothing to do with work, nothing to do with influencer marketing, but that's culture. We built an entertainment product, and that's why we weren't so precious about what people said and what people did, because we knew this was an entertainment product that got people to remember who we were and remember us against the crowd. Not necessarily think we're the fucking geniuses, like brain boxes around this. It was kind of by osmosis that they'd accept that we were, just because the fact we were even doing it set us apart. And then we had an entertaining product which people actually, they did want to watch it the next day because it was funny and Matt was super entertaining, and we had amazing characters around the office and storylines and love plot lines, and like it was just interesting because it was real, and that's why we weren't worried about it at all. Some people have bad days. We didn't want to be we didn't want it to be a collection of talking heads where everything was perfect and the company's amazing and everybody's having a great day. One of my favorite episodes is like episode, it's like late 100s, so 185, 190, and it's the day after the Christmas party. Now, the Christmas party vlog is amazing, and the guys did an amazing job to make it feel really special. But the day after the Christmas party, it's just 8 minutes of people being hungover, and it's amazing, amazing office culture. It's because it's exactly what it's like, and other people wouldn't have recorded that day, or they would have tried to put the rose-tinted glasses on it. We just recorded hungover 20-year-olds in an office soldiering on and still answering the phone to the clients. Not because we were saying, oh, look at us, we're still doing it. Just because no one wants to take a call when they're hungover. And it was just funny to watch someone have the reaction before they pick up the phone. Like those things, like just so real. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I miss it, because it is amazing to look back on. And I remember certain episode numbers so well because I'm like, oh, that was an amazing day. And that just, it was my life for 400 straight days.
The realness bit, I think, is really like the key to making, I guess, personal branding, but also like what you guys have done, which is do it at scale across your business.
Yeah.
Successful. I think too many people think that they have to be perfect. It has to be marketing approved. It has to be using the corporate language. It has to be,
It has to be us. Like we so many episodes would never had us in it. It just had the people at the grassroots of our business doing cool things, going out and going to events or talking about what they're doing at their desk. And we trusted that the people we hired were great reflections on us anyway, because if we didn't think that for a camera, then oh my god, we shouldn't put them in front of a client like who are paying us money. It would have been a lot more scary for me to hear that someone had said the wrong thing in a client meeting versus said the wrong thing on a funny video. Like, who cares? And that was cutting the difference, really. Like, if I trust them to be in a client meeting, I better trust them to be on the video.
I have this conversation a lot with people, and it's normally with internal marketing managers or CMOs or whoever who are trying to convince their CEO or whoever it is, head of division, that's like completely against doing this. And my argument is always exactly that. Like, if you trust someone enough to hire them, then why the fuck are you not trusting them online? Like, to me, that's not a problem with what people are going to say. That's a problem with your people or a problem with you.
Or your training or... Like, do I want every single member of our team to be talking about high-level marketing trends? No.
But also, like, are people going to watch that?
Yeah, that's really boring. But if we can integrate that inside of relationship fallouts in the office and people talking to people, being nice, being fun, pulling pranks on people, like that's funny. That's what people, and then they'll listen to that one bit of advice you get in the middle of the vlog. And that was what we always tried to strike the balance of. We want to give you one piece of insight, one laugh, and then one general thing about the business. And it wouldn't be us saying it. It would just be, those are the 3 major sections we need to get across in every vlog. This is our culture. This is a piece of information you can take away, or an opinion, and then this is something you might laugh at.
I love that. That makes it so succinct. I mean,
yeah, and it could have been 5 different things of each of those things, but we at least had to have one of those. Like, it was a bit of a tick box for us, in order to make sure we had the right product.
It sounds like you operated a little bit like an internal agency.
Yeah, we did. These guys didn't do anything to do with the business. Nothing. At that stage, we'd never made a client video, ever. We had no idea how to. We just knew how to build the perfect vlog about our business, and these guys knew that they had one task a day: get the vlog out at 6 o'clock. If you could do that, job done. Even if it wasn't the best vlog, I think that was the other hang up that people have and stops them doing this, is that they think that everything has to be amazing and it needs to almost get better. We accepted that some vlogs are going to be really bad, because some days are really, really bad and boring and meetings and crap. But that made it real, and it made the really good episodes really good. Like episode 199, me and Aaron and Matt in Vegas and in LA watching the KSI Logan fight is just amazing. It's an amazing, amazing day that's captured brilliantly. The excitement and entertainment and all of that is put together in this amazing, like, 12-minute piece of footage. And then you've got episodes like episode 1, which is terrible. Terrible. But we had to start somewhere in order to build and understand exactly what we were doing and how it was gonna grow. But yeah, I think it was a part of my life that I miss, but I'm very, very glad that we did it at some stage, and I can re-watch those 400 days whenever I want.
Is there anything you look back on and think, oh fuck, I can't believe we put that out?
The first episode, honestly, but we knew it wasn't very good even at the time, but it would have set such a bad precedent if we'd have edited it or shot for another day and then put it out. Because then it says that we could do that any day. The fact we had to get it out meant that we got it out. And then the second one was better, and the third one was better. Then got to a point where we knew that we could create a great piece of content every day. And when we're talking about, pre-pandemic, the sort of sweet spot of episode 180 to episode 310, they're just great. They're just really entertaining 10 minutes, and not because, and I'm saying that as if I'm a viewer, not because I'm sometimes in it. Like, just watching it when I'm not in it, sometimes more entertaining. Oh, it is a lot more entertaining actually when I'm not in it, especially for me. But like watching it on the next day, because it'd be the first time I'd see it, and seeing what the guys were up to around the office, because lots of the time I just wouldn't see that. Was really fun and interesting for me.
So you've done all this stuff, like daily vlog, or clearly invested heavily in getting this done. What did it mean for the business? Because I think a lot of people, that's the biggest thing for a lot of people, is they see this as kind of brand awareness. And I know you and I see things differently, but a lot of entrepreneurs will look at this and see this is like an ego-driven activity. Where's the ROI? Where are the leads? Where am I, etc.
Sure.
What does that look like for you?
So I'll answer that in 3 different ways. One, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. First year was like 200 grand to make it happen. It's a lot of money, a lot of people, and people that were just doing this. So it was a lot of money. The return is ultimately why we did it, because we thought, or really the decision we made in order to do it was, we looked back through all of our leads and all of our clients over the course of time and saw where their original source was from, and it was like 60 to 70% of our original source of work was when someone had seen us speak, or heard about one of the 3 of us, me, Aaron, or Nick. So seen us speak on a stage, met us at a meeting, or we'd met someone who's friends with someone, and that's how we got in touch. That was like 60 or 70% of our total lead gen. At that point was with probably a 10 million plus business, right? So,
That's wild.
6-7 million quid of our incoming business was just one connection away from being with us or being with us. So it was really about trying to scale that. And we looked at how many times that we could speak on stages, and it costs money to speak, obviously, and do things, and you have to travel around the world. But you can only really talk in front of, I don't know, 300 to 1,000 people a day. And that's great, but it's just not enough to build a billion-dollar agency that we want to build. So the answer for us was, okay, well, how can we build a single piece of content, which it ended up being, or how can we build 1 hour of my time into being viewed by an unlimited amount of people, rather than just the people sat in that room at the talk. And that was about how much content could we create, because it's unlimited the amount of people that will watch it. Now, obviously, we have to work out distribution. We have to build content that's interesting and engaging, and people want to share and comment and do all the stuff that we know that you have to do with content in order to get out there. But ultimately, that was about how can we scale us, the three of us, it was impossible to scale our time to physical events. But if we could scale our time virtually, it was completely scalable. And then even more than that, we then created something where we could scale everyone in the business's time. It wasn't just about the three of us, because we'd have only wanted maybe the three of us and maybe like 2 or 3 other people to ever speak on stage, ever. So that was like 6. But at the end of the vlog, we had 130 people, 130 on stage people. You having a laugh? That's all right. By the end, we had like 130 people on stage every single day, and that was an incredible way for us to just get out there and scale that opportunity, because had all those people all creating content, we could clip it up, and we could get thousands of views a day, and then scale it as many days in a row as we could. We'd never get tired, because the camera would just be there when we were there. It wasn't performing for the camera. We weren't having to get up on stage. We didn't have to do any prep, no presentation building, nothing. Turn up, shoot your normal day, camera will shoot it, they'll edit it, and then we could scale it. That was it. It was like, how can we do that? And then first 6 months, coming back to the return point, first 6 months, we saw nothing. We literally, people obviously saying, oh, this is really good and it looks great. And we really didn't see much, if not any work coming off the back of it. And then it was like, very much how I said about your business, it was like, bang, everything happened. And it was like a week. And like, we must have had like 5 or 6 deals in a week. All of them came through them saying, oh, I watched the vlog, or I found you through the vlog, or it's like, wow, this is pretty powerful. And then, yeah, over the first year, I think we generated like 2.5 million in revenue from the vlog. And yeah, a year to date, vlog to date return is probably getting towards like 6 million, 7 million mark. In how long have you been with us, Matt? 2.5 years? Okay, so yeah, 2 3/4 years.
It's not a bad return.
I mean, yeah, it's a fantastic return. But it had no return for the first 6 months. I think that's really, really important. And people like, I've just done in my house, and the interior designers said, oh, what could we do to help our business on social? I said, just vlog your life. Like, you're doing a really interesting job. I had no idea how an interior designer worked or what they did before I worked with them. Just vlog it. There's so many people who want to be interior designers and they have no content to consume in order to become it. And also, you're doing an amazing job every day, styling things. Everything's different all day. Just film it. And they started filming it, and they're doing like 5,000 views a week on their vlog on Instagram. So like, it's incredibly exciting that just anybody can do this, and everybody thinks their life isn't interesting enough. trust me, my life was not that interesting.
Well, I think the Kardashians have proved that anyone's life can be.
Literally just sitting around a fucking kitchen table eating salads.
Yeah. I watch their show and I just think how... I mean, not how, but you can see
characters.
how.
Characters.
Correct. Yeah.
Human beings, characters. And that's why once we figured that out, which I said it was about 25, 30 episodes in of dull, dreary, fly on the wall documentary that you've seen so many thousands of times on TV. And we worked out, okay, well, it's all about characters. It's all about plot line. It's all about people. And we'll just film people doing things that people do. If it's funny, sad, happy moments, amazing times to celebrate, someone's achieved something, someone's fucked something up. Like, all these things are really endearing things, because ultimately, like we say about our campaigns, is you've got to make someone feel something about something. And our vlog, I like to think, made people feel happy and sad and laugh and, you know, at some moments maybe cry when they saw Matt come back after a holiday. It was a good product that I'm very, very proud of. And I think Matt just said, actually, off camera, I think they're actually better to watch now than they were the night after it went out, because it really does put into perspective, I mean, one, how much the world's changed in the last 2 years, because you watch a vlog now and everyone's in an office and doing things where we are right now. But also, you know, it is amazing to think that is what an agency is like every single day, and we were willing to show the world.
To go back to your point about the return, I think it is like a really, I want to hammer home the money side, because it's not, we know it's not all about money, but I think the 6 months piece is really like the magic number. Like we were saying off camera, like my business was like chug, 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 and all of a sudden it just went boom. And I think a lot of that comes down to, if you think about, I don't know if you've ever seen the HubSpot consideration pie graph, where they're like 85% of your audience at any given time is just not buying. And then I can't remember what the other percentage, 12% considering, 3% buying. I think where you guys have done something really special, and what so many other agencies haven't managed to do either for themselves or for their clients, is that you're selling effectively to the 85% of people that aren't actually that bothered in buying from you.
I wanted them to care about it, to make other people,
so when they are ready,
yeah, exactly, that's it,
they come straight to you.
Exactly. And one of our biggest clients in 2021 came from the two decision makers watching our vlog for 6 months, and they didn't get in touch with us for 6 months. And they're a massive brand, and they spend multi-million pounds a year with us, and the two decision makers watched the vlog for 6 months and never got in touch with us, never liked, never commented, but then they got in touch out the blue on LinkedIn, just said, oh, I've been watching the vlog, would be really, really good to chat. And now they're a top 5 client for us globally. And yeah, they were just passive vlog watchers. They just watched maybe 1 or 2 vlogs a week. And that was also the goal of releasing once a day, is that you didn't need to watch every episode. We weren't designing a vlog for you to watch every episode. And if you did, amazing. You're one of very few people that probably did. But if you watch twice a week, just by chance on a Monday, and then you saw something on a Thursday, you probably still very much get the sense of the journey and what was going on. And that's, again, one of the other things we tried to create, and why I try and encourage people to create as much content as possible rather than do that weekly, once a week, because people miss it and they won't build it into a routine. That was also why we were so keen to post it every night at a similar time, so people knew. They knew they could be, they just knew they could log on. Like my grandma's a great example, right? She's never going to buy from us because she's my grandma. But she knew that if she refreshed YouTube every night at 7 o'clock, she was going to have the vlog there to watch. And if I think of her as a microcosm of what maybe, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 other people did every day, a couple of times a week, then they watch the vlog on a habitual way. But yeah, it worked for us. It's certainly not for everybody, but creating content and building cultural moments around your business and being real with it, I'd say is very, very, very valuable, and you will see a return, but you have to stick with it, because it takes time. It takes time for people to like you. Don't like you immediately, especially if you're only giving them 5 minutes. They're going to take time to trust you, build credibility, see other people liking you. Like, it's a herd thing. You've got to...
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. You've got to see other people think that person is credible before they start buying into them yourself.
26, co-founder of one of the fastest growing agencies in the world. You've got 2 co-founders.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I want to ask this question because I'm a solo founder, right? So everything is on me, which is great and stressful.
Unbelievable amount of admiration because I could never do it. And I have never done it. I've had 2 businesses. I've never had a
So talk me through that dynamic though, because there's 3 of you essentially making decisions. Like, how does that work? And why do you think it's beneficial as well to have other people in the business?
The 3 of us are very different. And we have very, very different skills. And we separate our decision making into our skill sets. There's obviously some decisions that we make as a group, and every decision that is made is kind of reported back, so everybody knows that a decision has been made on something. But ultimately, if it's top level business or sales, Aaron will lead the decision making. If it's client led, Nick will make the decision making, and if it's campaign or influencer led, I'll make the decision. And then on big business decisions, i.e. the private equity deal we just did, or moving office, or whatever it might, opening a new office somewhere, then that is obviously a more collective decision. But what's the dynamic? I think for me, it's about having people along for the ride that are at the same level. And I think it's very easy for people to look on at us and see, especially as the vlog, and it comes back to the vlog not being in the formative years and just being in the years where we're in the massive penthouse office in central London. Because trust me, it wasn't like that for the first few years. And
startup reality, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And I think I'd really struggle doing that on my own. Having the people to, when you win with them, and having the people there when you lose together. That is massive. You know, when your business gets to the size of ours, and even before, you know, you can get some awful news around a client, whatever might happen, right? And that door shuts. When someone walks into the door, when someone walks into the office, not into the door, walks through the door into the office, and says, oh yeah, we've just lost this, or this is going to cost this. And then once they've told you the information, they can just walk back out the door, shut the door, and it's now my problem. And if that's just my problem, and I found it really difficult when both boys were on holiday at the same time. And I know they feel exactly the same thing. But when that door shuts and it's just on you, that's tough. That's really, really tough. And I admire anybody who could do that themselves at a big business. When that door shuts and you can pick up the phone, or someone else is in the room, and that 50 grand problem becomes a 25 grand problem, and then another person walks in, your other founder walks in, and that 50 grand problem is now a 15 grand problem, it gets a lot more, you get a lot more perspective a lot quicker, and go, you share that. Share the burden. But then you also share the success, and there's nothing like being able to share the success of someone who's going through exactly the same thing as you. Yes, your team will have successes alongside you because their career will be developing and everything, but they'll never have the same loss, same low, the same high. They just can't. It's not theirs. So having a founding team where everybody shares the ups and the downs is super valuable mentally, but also valuable from a skill set point of view. And that's where the 3 of us have kind of gelled so perfectly over the last 6-7 years. And then have a amazing senior team to kind of back that up and plug the gaps of our knowledge and question us at the right time. But yeah, it's kind of the job of the 3 of us to keep each other in check and hold each other accountable. And we call each other out. If we don't like something, we tell them. That's really, really important. I think that's also because we were never friends before. Like we met at work and we became business partners. So we weren't friends, family friends. Like there was no awkwardness. There's never any awkwardness about calling someone out. It's just, what the fuck are you doing? Or I don't like this, or I don't like how you did that, or just honest. And yeah, I just love being able to share the journey with two guys I really like and admire and think are amazingly successful and will go on to be continued amazing successful guys.
And speaking of successes, you've obviously just had done your private equity deal.
Yeah.
How did it happen? Give us all the details, because I feel like
Yeah.
there is this weird culture, I feel like, around, and I'm not going to say small businesses, because small businesses don't want to scale their small businesses, right? But businesses like start my business, we want to scale that, we want to grow that.
Yeah.
So although now that type of deal is not that interesting to us, in the future it might be. So there's going to be a lot of people listening to this thinking, oh, the easiest way to grow a business is to go and get funded. But you guys didn't do that. You bootstrapped it to a certain point and then...
So I think it's quite... There's different types of funding. Yeah. Seed funding, VC funding, private equity funding, or you go public. And you can exit. They're your options. VC and seed is your classic need to raise money to go and do something, and you're basically raising money for the future dream, and that's what lots of people go and do. And we did it at Sport Lobster, at my previous job, and my previous business that I sold. I raised seed and VC money, so certainly not adverse to it. We have been forever a profit-driven business, and we are and have been every year a profit-making business since we started. So funding has never been that important to us because we've been able to fund ourselves throughout this whole process. How did this come about? Well, ultimately we've been doing this for six years. It's a long time, and we have a successful business. So there's always that part of you where you're like, okay, well, what's next? What are we going to do? How is it going to grow? How are we going to take this to the next level? And we're all young. I'm 26, Nick's 31, Aaron's 33. Like we want to do this for a long time. And we believe not only has this business got an amazing opportunity to grow and become the business we think, but the market has still got an unbelievable way to go in order to keep growing. And we're kind of at that point where the business is very valuable. It's difficult to hide from that. And people have been swarming around us for probably 12 months, 18 months, try and buy the whole business. And we don't want to get off the boat yet. Well, we really like it. It's really fun. But if we didn't take any money off the table as founders now, and I talk about the deal which happened in March as that, and we took money off the table as founders and we sold a minority of the business. But if we hadn't have done that, there's every chance someone could have come along around this sort of time this year or back end of this year, offered us 200 million for the business, and then when you've got no money in your account, that is very difficult to turn down. Whereas getting a bit of it out now allows us to really double down and go hell for leather. Let's go and do this. Let's go and build $1 billion agency. There's nothing stopping us. We're in a unbelievably fast growing agency industry. This media channel, influencer and social is growing year after year, and our business is perfectly set up to go and do this. We have a brand, we have amazing clients, we have an amazing team, we're global already. Like all these things tick the boxes, and that allows us to be in a position to really go for it. But it's difficult to really go for it if you haven't got anything, and not having any cash, not having any lifelong future stability when you're holding all your net wealth in shares, and someone comes with a massive briefcase of money at the end of this year and said, oh, I'll take all the shares off you if you want this, but you can't ever do that again. That's not really what we wanted to do. So we wanted to take a bit off the table now, make sure it was a minority, make sure that we still have control of the business. We could really, really push it forward as a 3. But secure our future and make sure that if anything did go wrong, and I'm not saying it will, anything did go wrong, that we at least got something out of this amazing journey. But really, it's about being able to double down and really being able to push forward and have that security behind us to go, let's go and take some bigger risks, let's go and do some bigger stuff, and take this business to where we believe it's going to be in 5 years' time. And the partners that we found in Inflection are amazing. Really, really like the guys who we met. We did the deal in record time. We met them we met them in January 28th this year, 2021, and we signed the contracts and money was transferred on the 2nd of March. So 31 days, which is like record time. These
Quicker than
deals,
buying a house.
and these deals are normally done in like 9 months, and we did it in 31 days. And I think that's a justification of how hot the market is right now, like the influencer market. People want in, and a credit to our amazing team for building an amazing business and something people want to be on the journey of.
I love the self-awareness of you saying that we wanted to take something off the table, because I think there are a lot of kind of rhetoric and the narrative around starting a business and scaling it is that you do have to be all in, and you do, but actually you need something. Like, you do need that something. If you're going to work 6-7 years to build something, you want to have something to show for it. So
of course,
the self-awareness piece around that, I think, is something that a lot of people can take away.
And we did a 40-minute podcast. We sat in the room next door, and the three of us talked about the fact we made some money. Like, yeah, but everybody's so keen to like push the hustle, work really hard, build your own business narrative, but then no one talks about it when they make the money. They're embarrassed.
Why do you think that is?
Because Brits are embarrassed about talking about money. I think that's ultimately what it is, and people are very self-conscious. And I don't want to talk about it in a flash way, but there has to be the peak of the mountain at some point. And fucking hell, if I climbed the side of the mountain for a few years, it's really difficult to climb up there. You have to take an advisor all the way up there, like you do on Everest. But you should be able to celebrate at the top, and I don't believe we're at the top. We're at one of those ledges halfway up where we can have a rest.
You haven't died yet,
and you can set up camp for a couple of years, and then we'll keep going. And we're back on that slope, like pushing towards truly the peak. But yeah, we're so sick of hearing people do something and then not be honest about it, and not be honest about it to staff. Like, we could have easily made this out as if it was an investment, and it wasn't.
And how did the team take it? Because that can completely change the dynamic of a business. When
I think if we'd have sold the majority of the business and we were leaving or stepping back, then obviously I'd expect them to be worried, but we're not. We're as in as we ever have been, and we still own control of the business. So it's in our interest to keep pushing the business forward. We've hired like 30 people since the deal, so there's no question of our intention to keep pushing this and take this to another level. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that people are embarrassed about, and it's just one of those things that we'd rather be honest about and tell the truth about.
So I read somewhere in August last year, you said, and this was obviously at the height of the pandemic
this is
craziness,
terrifying. I could have said anything.
You said to get through the crisis, you're either going to have to sell it, trade through it, or private equity through it. So obviously,
raise, So yeah, we obviously went for kind of a hybrid of all of them. We traded through it at the start, big time. We sat down as a team in March, April, and said, "We just have to win some more business, guys.
Pull your boots up, guys."
Yeah, literally, we're gonna have to win some more business and get on the phones and bring that revenue in and like bring the cash in. Like, get on the phone. If anybody owes us money, let's get it now, because we had no idea what was going to come. And then, so that was trading through it. When we probably traded through it until, probably that August time. Then we had a few offers to sell the business during the March to August period. That tested our steel. It's proper money that would have changed my life forever, but I'd have been locked in to work for someone else. Didn't really fancy that. And ultimately, for us longer term, now we've taken the private equity investment and are really, really, fiercely looking at what our future is going to be holding. Ultimately, the pandemic's been pretty good for us. We couldn't have designed a consequence of anything, as well as people have to stay at home and can't do anything other than be on their phone.
And what has that been like? Because obviously you've been so used to being inside this amazing office that we've all seen on LinkedIn and YouTube every day.
Yeah.
How has that changed the culture of the business, and how, as a leader of that business or one of the leaders of that business, have you helped navigate that?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. I think the thing that's made it the hardest is that even outside of work, our staff can't socialise, and we've hired a lot of people. We've hired like 60 people since we broke up for the pandemic. So yeah, it's really difficult. I think we're getting to a point of mild normality now where people, despite not being working in an office, can still socialize, can still go to a cafe, can still go to a restaurant, can still go to a park, a bar, can go and get pissed at a pub. Like, let's not get away from the fact that our business is young people. They want to socialize, want to see people, and they want to get pissed. And I think the biggest thing for us is how can we encourage people getting together over the next few months. We're not going to get an office until at least 2022, because I mean, I saw it today. One of my friends' offices had to not evacuate, but they couldn't go in today because someone's tested positive in the office for COVID. So now 50 people can't go to the office today, and probably for the next 10 days. Well, that's not sustainable. So we have to be in a world where that never happens, and there is no threat of an impending lockdown at any one point for the whole country. And we probably need to live in that world. How those things need to be in action for at least 3 to 6 months for us to even think about getting an office. And I don't think that's going to be until summer next year. So I think that's really what we're looking at, because there's no way this year that's going to be the case. We just don't have enough months left. And it takes like 3 months to find an office and sort all the legals out, size of office we want. Like, it's not an easy process. But culturally, I wish over the last 6 months we've been able to socialise better. But it's been out of our control, and I think ultimately that's been the hardest thing to stomach. Not being able to see everybody, not being able to integrate teams, integrate new starters in the same way as I used to be able to do in the office. And yeah, it's a constant struggle, but we're coming up with creative ways and trying to do different things. I think it was potentially slightly easier at the start of the pandemic, and this last stretch of 2021 has been definitely the hardest. How about you? Like, you've just started the business, and
I know, left a safe job that I was probably about to get promoted in to start an agency in the middle of a pandemic when obviously everyone had sacked off their marketing team. So yeah, brilliant idea. Yeah,
well, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's going okay.
But what's it like dealing from scratch, dealing with a team without an office, like a traditional office?
To be honest, we don't know any different. Like, we have an office now. It's very small, but only some of the team are in some days and some of the team aren't.
That's what we'll have in 2022. We will have a
place. It's like a meeting place as opposed to a place to work from.
Fully flexible venue.
Like your own WeWork.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's actually love that goat work. You could trademark that and sell hot seats.
Matt, just write that.
This could be a goat work we're filming right now.
But that's what we want.
I think that's what people want. Like, I don't think anyone realistically is going to go back into an office Monday to Friday and go, this is a fucking great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this for the rest of my career, sit on a train for an hour in and an hour out.
I want people to be able to wake up at 7:30 in the morning, look at their alarm, think, fucking hell, I don't feel like going to the office today. Delay the alarm for an hour, get up at 8:30 and still be in work at 9 o'clock, because they can just work at home. Or they can wake up at 7:30, go, I'm really up for getting out about today. Haven't seen people for a couple of days. I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to get on the train and go to London. Great.
How does that work from a cultural perspective of bringing people together?
I think we've got enough people for that culture to be grown based on enough, like 30, 40 people being in the office at the same time. So, yeah.
So 2021 has been probably one of the best years for you and for the agency. What is the future look like for Harry, Goat, and your herd?
I think the future is incredibly bright. I think the influencer market, the social market, is growing exponentially year on year, which is amazing. I think our team is so strong, and the clients are so willing to do something different and disruptive. For me, it's about how can I lead this next few years in a successful way, do something that I've never done before, maybe float the business, maybe sell the business, maybe take the business to another level where I never want to sell. there's really, in the position we're in, there's an unlimited amount of options. But for me, it's 100% go, and it's 100% like, how can we further what we've already done the hard bit. Now it's about really, really pushing on and making the most of the opportunity. And I think the biggest thing that I will look back on here is whether or not I made the most of the opportunity, because the opportunity is unlimited, and it's really about what the three of us make of it, rather than is it going to be a success. I think it's got to a point where it should be a success regardless, but it's about the opportunity. Like, are we going to actually make the most of it?
Is it ever going to be enough though?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really difficult question.
Because I don't know if you agree, but I think, speaking for myself and other entrepreneurs that I know and speak to, it's never enough. It's like you get to that point and you're like, yeah, that was great. And then it's like on to the next thing. And maybe that's just me, or maybe that is part of being an entrepreneur and part of being someone that's driven to build something.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I really like the first bit of building a business. I really like the first, like, understanding what to do, what bits to...
The scrappy bit.
Yeah, I love that. I love problem solving, so that's perfect for me. So I think that will probably be my long term. And I'm 26. So God, like, I want to spend some time doing this because I really like it, and I'm quite good at it. But the next part of my career, maybe post GOAT, when I'm 40, is working with people trying to build that level of business, because I think I can actually add some serious value there. Because I'm super hands-on and like doing things and making solutions and just making things happen immediately. And that's what that level of business really, really needs. Is like immediate action, decisiveness, and things just, yes, let's do it. And pushing things forward.
So going back to 21,
yeah,
right at the start of your GOAT journey, what would be 3 things that you wish you knew when you were 21?
I think management of people. I'd prioritize that probably earlier. I wasn't very good at that, and I'm still not brilliant at it. It's not one of my key skills. So I think I'd probably try and learn more about that earlier. What else would I say to myself? I'd say stick with it, because, coming back to that example around the vlog, it's like sometimes even if you're doing something right, it takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. The relentlessness of doing the right thing will get you to the right place, rather than just doing the right thing will just get you to this right place immediately. The vlog is a great example of a living example of just relentlessness paying off. And be a decent bloke, like, because I honestly believe that part of our success has been down to the fact we're actually all right people, and we're not dicks, and we give people time. And I'll take a call at midnight with a agency founder who's trying to do something, because I actually quite like hearing about it and helping. And yeah, I think being a decent bloke is probably the biggest lesson in life that you could ever teach someone. And there's so many dicks that I don't like spending time with because they're dicks. And some people might look at me and go, you're a dick, but I think that really our whole business has been built on the premise that we're actually all right people, and we want to give people time. And yeah, we're cutthroat and we want to win, but who doesn't? And I don't think you can be a successful entrepreneur unless you actually really want to win. But I don't want to win solo. It comes back to what I was saying about Aaron and Nick and living the highs and lows with people around you. Like, I want to win and have loads of other of my mates and people in the industry win as well. Like, that's really exciting. So yeah, I think being decent blokes is really, really important.
Harry, thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you very much for coming in this unbelievably hot studio.
It's pretty warm.
Yeah, it's very, very warm. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.